Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we're previewing UFC Vegas Gamrot versus Tsarukyan. Will the UFC release Nate Diaz? And Jake Paul has his next opponent. Let's get the boys in here. Let's get the show started.
Let's go!
Yeah, those guys. Freddie and AJ.
Hey!
What's up, guys?
Bon Saint-Jean-Baptiste, mes amis.
Bonne
C'est
fête
le temps de
nationale.
fêter, c'est le temps de party, c'est le temps de boire et manger de maple syrup, poutine et tout ça. C'est...
Do we say Bon Saint-Jean? Are we saying Fête Nationale? What are we saying here? How does this go? What's the... Fred, what are people saying to you?
Thanks.
What are people saying to you? People don't say nothing to me.
People don't really say much to me either because, I mean, I see you. I don't see many people, man, and I don't talk to that many people. But I think Bon Saint-Jean makes more sense. Some people, I think I'll hear that more than Bonne Fête Nationale. But to me, it's Saint Xavier Day.
That's right.
For the past 5 years, it's been Saint Xavier Day.
That's right. It is it's a holiday. It's a provincial holiday here in Quebec on the 24th of June every year. But, of course, it's my son's birthday. He's turning 5, which is
crazy, man.
Crazy.
Goes quick,
C'est fou, ça.
Yeah.
C'est fou, ça, David.
It's
C'est pas
nuts.
possible, imagine. And you know what's crazy? He's on the 24th, and my brother, Julio, it's his birthday on Saturday, the 25th.
That's crazy.
It's birthday weekends,
Happy
man.
birthday.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's crazy. Is that crazy? I mean, people...
Well, think about it. Your
sure.
son is 5, and my brother is going to be much, much older. I won't say his age.
Is he your younger
he's
brother,
up there,
though?
man. According to me, he's my older brother.
Yeah, but he's not, actually. I like that you're talking about how old your brother... Yeah.
It took forever to answer that.
Yeah, he didn't want to answer that because he knew he just dug himself in a hole by calling him old. You're like saying, "Oh, my brother's gonna be very old on his birthday." I'm like, "Aren't you older than him? Aren't you the older brother?" And you're like,
Well, actually, I say that my sister is older than me and my brother. But anyways, all to say is happy birthday,
She's not,
Zabby.
though.
Happy birthday, Julio. And Bon Saint-Jean-Baptiste. Hey, man, I was looking at some stuff that Quebec is all about. Did you know what the provincial bird is? You know what Quebec's provincial bird is? Freddie, do you know that? Did you pass, like, French cultural classes? You, Dave? I know Dave probably did.
Don't know.
Let me guess.
and I'm not
The
sure I
alouette.
care.
The gentil alouette.
You were close, man.
There you go. I don't like birds. All right, I'm no friend to birds. I hate birds of all kinds. Birds of all feather. I'm anti-bird.
One of my favorite
you said
Facebook
alouette.
pages is Birds Aren't Real.
Oh.
What?
They're CIA
Is that an actual
drones
Facebook?
spying on you. It's a great page, man. It's sarcastic, but it's very funny. I love that.
I just don't like birds.
Birds aren't real.
I don't like how they look. I don't trust them. They tend to come at me in weird ways that I don't appreciate. And I'm a big friend to the cat. I'm always friends to all the cats, and I don't like how birds fly around when the cats are trying to get them and kind of taunt the cats. I'm always rooting for the cat to kill the bird, decimate him, and torture him to death. I love eating chicken and duck and any kind of bird I can get my hands on. I'll eat birds. I root for the cat. Team cat. I hate birds, all right? If there's one thing you
I had
guys...
some great chicken for supper tonight.
Exactly. The only thing birds are good for is getting eaten, all right? Birds are the worst. I hate all birds. I hate the St. Louis Cardinals, the Baltimore Orioles, and any fucking bird out there. Birds are
sometimes I have Blue Jays in my backyard. Blue Jays and Cardinals.
Don't get me started about Blue Jays. I hate them too. Stupid blue birds with their damn beaks.
What are you talking about?
I hate birds.
Jesus.
Idiots.
Where did it go?
Bird brains.
So, by the way,
where do you think that comes from?
Listen.
From stupid birds. Idiots.
Jesus, man.
God, I hate
on
birds.
a rant, man, from like Bon Saint-Jean to SC Les Alouettes. Holy smokes.
It's true.
By the way, the provincial bird for Quebec, which you should know because we're going to have La Langue Française on us, it's the snowy owl. So when you went alouette, I was like, oh, they've got it. And then I realized, c'est pas le même. It's the snowy owl.
I think that it's more impressive. Yeah, I don't care about that. I think what's more impressive about Quebec is that we are the #1 producer of maple syrup in the world. You know that?
We are, man. Go figure that.
Which is
My
pretty cool.
grandma used to make her own because she had like a maple tree, and every year she would just make a little bit from that maple tree, and it was great. Some homemade syrup, and man, maple syrup is incredible. This week, man, I did some pork with maple. It was delicious, man. Trust me, it's try
Listen,
that, man.
listen.
Maple pork.
Here's another thing that was brought up to me to ask the boys. It was said that since it's like Saint Jean Baptiste, who would you consider your most iconic Quebecer? Like, if you think of
I
Quebec,
don't know.
you have to think of
I don't care.
like male, female, or neutral gender. I don't care, man. What is it?
AJ D'Alessio.
No.
Yeah, AJ's
I
the
had mine, man.
greatest.
I wrote it down and everything. I thought it was
Johnny
gonna be
North.
like- Johnny North. That's iconic right there, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna
He's
go with something
iconic.
else, man, and I'm sure Freddie would appreciate this, man.
How about
And
your
I saw
friend,
this guy in
the
the
Prime
mid-show.
Minister? What an iconic Quebecer. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Isn't he from Quebec?
Hey, listen. Talk about Justin Trudeau. I saw
No.
a video of him boxing a couple of days ago again, and I'm like, holy smokes, man! I'll knock him out in the ring. Sorry, Justin.
That's
You're
probably
going
the
down.
old video, but
Well,
I don't
that's
really
a that's
care
a
about
gimme,
that.
AJ. Most iconic Quebecer. I mean, are we supposed to say Georges St. Pierre here, or is there somebody else we're supposed to say? How about
Oh,
Denny
I didn't even
Boucher,
write
former
that down.
Expo pitcher? Denny Boucher. He was pretty
No.
cool.
Denny Boucher was awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him.
George St. Pierre is up there.
Yeah, he's all right, I guess.
I
eh?
mean, Freddie, for you, it would be. So let's
yeah, I
go.
don't know. Is Bubbles Canadian?
Bubble. Yeah, but he's saying from Quebec.
Quebec.
Bubbles
Oh,
is
from
a-
Quebec. Fuck.
Bubbles from the Trailer
That
Park
had to
Boys.
be-
You're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's from
Fuck, I'm
Nova
already
Scotia.
at Canada Day. You see, I'm a week early, man.
Oh yeah, Canada
I
Day is
don't
gonna
know,
be big, boys.
man. I don't know, man. I live my life in English. What do you want me to say, man?
That's right.
It's true, man.
For moi, là, les gars, c'est bien simple. I met him on the metro. I talked to him. He was cool. He was surprised I recognized him. Elvis Gratton. The best. That
Cool.
When I think of Quebec, I think of Elvis Gratton, man. I swear, no joke. Above George, above everybody. And for people that are like, who the hell's he talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. Elvis Gratton and Chinese Elvis, man. You can't beat
Careful.
it.
Careful.
Well, that was his name. That was his name, man. It was his nemesis. It was the best. So watch a movie of Elvis Gratton, man. How about it, man?
I've
You
never
can't get any
seen
better
that.
than that.
I've heard of
What?
it. I've never seen it.
Oh, Dave, you gotta watch it, man. That's
I'm
like
good.
missing Cheech and Chong, like smoking up
I don't
or
know.
up in smoke or whatever the hell it was called.
You're not missing that much.
Yeah.
Ding and
I'm-
dong is
No,
better.
that's the best. Les
I don't know what that
Expos.
is either.
Come on.
No, I'm
They're the
like
best. Dave,
Fred.
you gotta watch it, man.
I'm also like Fred. I live my life in English. I don't really watch French things. No disrespect. I don't know.
I just don't.
I think I'm the most Quebecer guy here, man.
I mean, American television. Have you seen that, AJ? It's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
It's not
very
even
good at
Canadian.
making TV, you know? Like, why mess
USA.
around? Why mess around in the minor leagues when you can get, like, the top of the, the creme de la
Like-
creme?
No.
You know?
Like every NASCAR race, man, when the national anthem plays, and it's not the Canadian one, man, I'm there and I'm singing. And my daughter is starting to sing, man, which I love. And it's a great moment. And then there's the flyover, man. Man, I live my life as an American, okay? Please, I want to be an honorary American.
You never
Can I be
visit
that?
the United States. Like, when's the last time you were in the States?
Because I smoke weed, man.
Yeah.
It's complicated,
It's getting
man. Where do I
legal.
get my
It's-
weed?
It's pretty much legal there everywhere at this point.
For real? Can I go
Almost.
to Vermont and, like, buy some weed for the day? Or...
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Or if you can't
If I
now,
can,
if you can't now, you will be able to very soon. Like,
because I can't bring my own. That's dangerous. So, like, that's an issue, you know?
yeah, I know. It's a problem for me too going to America. But I think in a lot of states it's becoming legal, and you could buy it in certain states, and it's in more and more places it's going to be all right.
Because I'll
Like
go
it-
shop with you. But I'm
Yeah.
not vaccinated either, man. Am I allowed to pass?
No, you can't.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
you can
can,
go
no,
into
at
the
this
states,
point.
but you can't come back into Canada. I think.
I mean, I might
Well,
like
that's
that.
it. You stay American, man.
Which is
Freddie's gonna take
insane.
advantage of that.
Which, like, I don't understand what happens to you then. Like, if say you're Canadian, you go over to the States, you're not vaccinated, you try to come back, they say you can't come back. No, I think you can, but you have to quarantine for 14 days. I think that's what it is. You can come back into Canada, but you then have to quarantine for 14 days, and they kind of, You know, but if you are vaccinated, you can come back into Canada and you're fine. You don't have to do nothing. So you
It's
could
so
go to
complicated,
America,
dude.
Fred.
It's so complicated.
But do you have a
Forget
passport?
about it. Listen,
Not a valid one.
Okay. Well, it is
You're gonna-
currently
you're gonna need a
impossible.
That.
It's currently impossible to get a passport for some reason. There are people lining up for days outside the passport office, getting into fights, still not getting passports for some reason. I don't know what the hell's going on. I've got a super long passport. I'm good, but I see the struggle that people are having right now to get a passport in Quebec, and I'm like, what? I think, is it in Quebec or in all of Canada? I don't understand what's going on. I'm not really
I'm
paying
not sure
attention.
Bullshit.
But I've been
Listen,
to
man,
the
they took
States. Like, don't make it like I love Vegas, man. I've been there twice, man. Vegas is like my favorite city in the world.
Well, you
wait
could
to
smoke
go to
weed there.
Vegas.
You could buy
Yeah.
weed there now, which is pretty sweet.
For real? Because last time I went, man, I went on this forum, and they would say like, just like they got the smoke shop in Vegas where you buy cigarettes and cigars, and on the forum they said just stay in front of the smoke shop and somebody's gonna approach you to see if you want something, which I did, and somebody did approach me, and I did get some cheap weed at a high price. But
Right.
hey, at least I got some Vegas weed.
Well, they have dispensaries. It's legal in Nevada.
Even better, man.
So they
Less
have
shady.
dispensaries, but it's like, I think they have good weed, but you're gonna be paying, like $50 American for like 3 grams or something. Like, it's gonna be ridiculous.
It's not too bad,
The
man.
maybe more. Like, the prices
Yeah.
I've seen are like ridiculous for weed at those dispensaries in the States.
But when you're in Vegas, you're moving, so you're not smoking as much.
That's
and
it.
all.
And it's worth it, because what else are you going to do? You're going to not buy it? You know what I mean? You're Canadian. You have no other choice. You go there, you have to buy it. I would definitely buy it. I would go, maybe I would go.
Next
But-
Vegas trip, I need to go to the gun range. I've been there twice and never went. It's my
I've-
next
Brady's a-
Vegas trip.
Yeah, I'd like to do
NASCAR
that
guy,
too.
man.
I've never shot a gun in my life.
Me neither.
What?
I've never shot a gun. I've never shot a gun. I've never held a gun. I've never even seen a gun in real life other than like on a cop. I've never seen a gun pulled, nothing. No gunnage in my life. It's pretty good. I feel lucky that I've had that experience. I haven't had to deal with guns ever. It's good. No guns. Except for these
Gotta tell you.
babies, brother. All right. We got good fights on Saturday
What's our
night,
show about
boys.
anyways?
Tsarukyan
Oh, yeah, it's MMA again.
and Gamrot. Yeah, AJ.
Dude.
Armenia.
It's good. It's a good fight here on Saturday. I know AJ wanted to talk about the fights from last Saturday, which were pretty
Yeah, I
good.
said that because you guys like laughed at me last week, like, "Oh, Fred, you're not prepared, man." I had Josh Emmett, man.
He
Don't
did,
forget
man.
that. I'm the
You
one
took
that
him
called
on,
Josh Emmett.
You took him on a whim. You were like, yeah, I'll go with Emmett. Yeah.
No, I was going with all the underdogs, and Tim Means disappointed me, and Joe Lozon unfortunately got sick. Or what did Lozon have? Oh, his knee. It was his knee
His-
that fucked up.
Yeah, had a knee
Joe
problem.
Lozon-
And remember
That's
what I
crazy, right?
said, eh?
That fight is cursed. Joe Lozon hurt his knee, so that fight got set, and then it got pushed, and then Cerrone got sick the day of, so he got food poisoning, so they canceled the fight. Then they moved it to last week, and then Lozon weighed in, everything. He went to put socks on, and he screwed up his knee to the point where he couldn't walk anymore, so the fight got canceled the
man.
day of. He messed his
Man,
knee up putting socks on, and now Dana White's like, yeah, that fight's cursed. We're never going to see Lozon and Cerrone. We're not doing that fight. So now Cerrone's going to fight Jim Miller at UFC
Which is cool.
276.
It's not
Which
going to
is cool.
happen. And I'm going to tell you. Remember what I
And
said
Lozon
on
should
the
fight
show?
the winner.
Like,
Yeah.
listen, the Thursday prior, I said exactly this. I said, you know what? These guys have always something's happened. They've never fought in over 10 years. They've tried and it never happened. And I said, don't be surprised by Saturday it won't happen again. Boom. As soon as I heard they weren't fighting, I'm like, holy shit, man. Here we go again. They're tied with Khabib and Ferguson for 3 times they've been canceled. I mean, you know what? I seriously doubt that that's even going to happen with Cerrone. I think that's
No, it's not
it's not
happening.
going to happen, dude.
What, Cerrone and
not
Miller? You don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
I don't
happening?
think it's going to happen.
Why not?
No.
Well,
I don't know,
it's
there's
been
something-
announced,
there's
and
more
it's
to
in
this
2
story.
weeks. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced
Cerrone's
like
red.
that-
Well, which is weird,
I don't
right?
know.
Because Dana White at the press conference, He said, yeah, we offered Cerrone a fight in July, but he didn't want to take it because he said he didn't want to cut weight again, so Cerrone's probably not going to fight for a while. I'm pretty sure Dana said that. And now all of a sudden Cerrone takes the fight at UFC 276, which is next week. It's not even in 2 weeks, Fred. It's next week. And Cerrone's going to be fighting Jim Miller, who he knocked out in 2014, but it's not 2014 anymore. I'm not sure about this fight.
It's
like
weird,
Jim Miller,
Jim
Miller's seen better days, but he's won 2 in a row. Like he won in February by TKO. Like he beat a guy. Cerrone hasn't won in a while. This might be revenge time for Jim Miller.
2016.
Like last week, I said Cerrone in my head is maybe already almost retired in his own head, and I might be wrong. I don't know the guy and all that, but I'm like under the impression that Cerrone, he still likes fighting, but maybe I don't know the grinding and all that. I'm not sure if it's there. And look, if I'm wrong, great, but I'm gonna go with Jim Miller on that fight. I think Jim Miller, veteran, finds a way to. He could strike also. Miller, he's decent on the feet and on the ground. His jiu-jitsu is excellent. So it's a fun fight, man. I want to see these veterans continue. I'm down for those matches.
And the thing with Miller, when I didn't take him in the last fight, and after I was watching that fight, I was like, man, I regretted it. I didn't realize he still has that skip in his step, you know? And that's the difference. Like, Cowboy is sort of like, since the Conor fight, you know, he just seems like he's like heavy stepping. There's something slower. But Miller, man, he still has this skip. And that's what I think has the edge. If they actually fight, which I don't think is going to happen, you know, yeah, I see everything on Miller's side to win this fight. But you know what? They're both at the end of their careers, man. How far can Cowboy go? How much more can Miller really go? Like,
yeah, I don't know why you're so skeptical this fight's going to happen. It is in a week, but I mean, it's possible it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think they threw it out. We'll see, man, if he doesn't make weight or if whatever. Like,
if for whatever reason it gets canceled, man, we'll hear forever that AJ's like a fortune teller.
Listen,
AJ will arrive disguised as a fortune teller.
Yeah. Can you still get away with that with the thing and the turban like a
I'm
Johnny
not sure.
Carson?
Tony Kornheiser used to do it on PTI. So
right. Can you still do
that's
it, though?
what comes to mind.
That's
I'm
a
not
question.
sure.
Why can't you do it?
You
got it right here. You want me to do it? Here
No.
we go, man.
Don't do it.
You want the
That's a
turban?
Khabib hat.
I got
That's
the
something else.
Dagestanian hat. This is Dagestan. They're fortune tellers. I can actually tell you this. If you're from Dagestan, chances are you're going to win.
Well, we were giving you some good picks last weekend. The Team Dave parlay was looking pretty solid. The Team AJ parlay was looking pretty solid. And then the Emmett fight.
Josh Emmett
and Kattar. And yeah, I don't know about that one, Fred. I know you're quite pleased with your pick and all, but I don't think that Emmett actually won that fight.
The way you guys dismissed me.
Did we dismiss you? Were we dismissing?
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah.
We did. We were like pretty hard on
you
Freddie.
talked
Sorry,
all
Fred.
over like you're crazy and all that, and
Yeah, we
It's
used
all right.
those words, man.
and you said like I did no
Freddie was right.
preparation, and then
Well,
I
you
came
didn't.
in with
But
all
the
those
judges-
You
those
said
great
who's
lines
fighting?
on Vince McMahon.
You
And I
said
got
who's
other
fighting?
questions on McMahon.
Oh, we'll do that. We'll get to them. We'll get to
Listen,
them. Don't
Freddie
worry.
was right,
I'm ready.
but the judges were wrong. That's what it comes down to. Freddie was right.
Yeah.
Judges were wrong, man.
Here's the thing with
let's be
that fight.
honest.
Here's the thing with that fight. The first 3 rounds were real close. You could have scored them either way. The 4th round I thought was Kattar's, and then the 5th round I thought was real close too. And a couple of the judges, one judge scored at 48-47 for Kattar, which is how I saw it. I saw round 2, 4, 5 for Calvin Kattar, and rounds 1 and 3 for Josh Emmett. One judge scored at 48-47 for Emmett, and I think he scored it 1-2-5 for Emmett, and that's fine with me. 1-2-5 makes sense because, like I said, 1, 2, 3, and 5 were all toss-up rounds. But the one judge, and I believe it was Judge Chris Lee, scored at 48-47 Emmett, scored it giving Emmett the 4th round. So that's 3 rounds to 2, and he gave Emmett, one of the rounds he gave Emmett was the 4th, which he did not win. He did not win the 4th round, and that to me was the only clear round in Calvin Kattar's favor. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that Josh Emmett was awarded this victory because the judging from Chris Lee was a little weird. I have the scorecards here that I can show you guys. And there's Judge Chris Lee scoring round 1, 3, and 4 for Josh Emmett, which makes no sense to me. 1 and 3, fine. 4, no. And then he scored 2 and 5 for Calvin Kattar, which is fine. Judge Doug Crosby scored it round 1 and 3 for Emmett, and rounds 2, 4, and 5 scored it exactly the way I did. Rounds 2, 4, 5 for Calvin Kattar.
Makes sense.
And then Judge Sal D'Amato scored it round 1, 2, 3 for Emmett, which I think is totally fine too. And then rounds 4 and 5 for Calvin Kattar. And that I have no problem with because, like I said, rounds 1, 2, 3, and 5 were all toss-up rounds that you could have scored either way. Now, the judges unanimously scored the 5th for Calvin Kattar. The judges unanimously scored the 1st for Josh Emmett, but I don't know if they were unanimous. I guess they were unanimous on the 3rd for Emmett too, but they should have been unanimous on the 4th for Calvin Kattar, which means Calvin Kattar should have won the fight 48-47 by split decision. So I think there was a problem there with the scoring.
Could have. Fred was right.
believe
You
AJ.
didn't watch the fight,
you,
Fred.
man.
You didn't watch the fight. I'm telling you that if you score
AJ?
like Sal D'Amato, here's the thing. Let me bring it up again. I'll bring it up again, guys. Sal D'Amato's scorecard makes perfect sense to me. You want to score at 48-47, Emmett, giving him 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 to Kattar, fine. But Doug Crosby's scorecard, too, makes perfect sense to me. That's how I scored it. 2, 4, 5 for Kattar, fine. But Chris Lee, if you want to give round 1 to Emmett, fine. You want to give 3 to Emmett, fine. But you cannot give the 4th round to Josh Emmett because he simply lost that round. And the fact that Chris Lee scored that round for Josh Emmett gave Josh Emmett the whole fight. That was the fight. And that was an erroneous score for the 4th round. If you watch that 4th round and you scored for Josh Emmett, please explain to me how, because I think that was Calvin Kattar's round. Clearer than any round in the fight was the 4th round. It baffles me that Chris Lee scored it the other way. And
he might have made a mistake, you know that, Dave.
He might have made a mistake. Whatever.
He can't backtrack on that.
He owes me money.
Made a mistake.
The Team Dave parlay was coming through. The Team Dave parlay was winning. The Team AJ parlay was winning. We were doing so well. I had Kattar, Hawes, Stamen, Wells, Rodriguez, all winners. All winners except for Kattar. We would have cashed in big time on the Team Dave parlay last week. Hawes with the knockout win of Deron Winn. Stamen with a slam dunk victory over Eddie Wineland. Knocked him out. Jeremiah Wells with a nice upset victory. AJ, you didn't like that one, right? Last week when I was telling you Wells, you thought Court McGee would come through. There's Jeremiah Wells, 1st round knockout of Court McGee. We got RoboCop Rodriguez getting the win over Julian Marquez. I thought we were rolling. We were going good. And then Calvin Kattar, Chris Lee, the judge, screwed me. Couldn't believe it.
Screwed me too, man, because I had my fight. Hey, listen, it was.
And your parlay was good too, AJ.
Okay.
You had, you had Cerrone, but he didn't wind up fighting. But you had Kevin Holland, who looked really good, submitting Tim Means with a Darce. You had Joaquin Buckley, who got a knockout win over Albert Duraev. And then you had Damir Ismagulagov, who picked up a pretty tight win over Guram Kutaladze. I thought Guram actually won. I thought Guram won that fight, AJ. I don't know about that. I mean, that was another one where the judges, like, there were a few fights that I was watching the card on Saturday thinking, that's not how I saw the fight. The Maria Oliveira over Gloria De Paula prelim. Maria Oliveira won a split decision. I was watching that fight when the scores came out. I was like, I didn't see it that way. And again, with the Damir and Guram fight, when they gave it to Damir, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't really see it that way. And then at the end, like, the judges were a little off in Texas last week. I don't know. It was a
always
little
off
weird.
in Texas. I'm telling you, Dave, and I've been saying this for the longest time. I think they're doing their conference this week or something like that in Niagara. It's that whole conference on judging and whatnot. And I'm telling you, man, they got to go over like the procedures for judging in MMA, not in martial arts, but in MMA. And that's the problem. Like, you know, you look at it differently in boxing and karate and all that. And I was hammering way back, if you look at our past episodes, and you guys were destroying me when I was telling you there's problems with judging, because we look at it from one perspective, and so do professional fighters, because Daniel Cormier and all that kind of stuff, you know, like he'll say things that are pretty close to what we say, and it's like it doesn't make sense. And here we are again with the judging I think he won that fourth. I just think he circled the wrong number. That's what I think. I think he screwed up and he handed in the card and he's like, oh, fuck. Well, I can't say anything now. But it could be a possibility. But all to say is, if that wasn't the case and he looked at it in that perspective, we've got a problem. We need to get MMA veterans that see the game from an MMA perspective and not looking at it from a karate or a jiu-jitsu or a boxing or a Muay Thai perspective. It's the full like gamut of mixed martial arts.
It's dangerous because if they know, like, there's relationships and all that, that's dangerous.
Sure,
Man.
I agree.
It's a close community.
It's a close community, but you gotta, you know what, like, just like, look, like anything else, like, you know, you have jiu-jitsu, like, refs that are in the UFC that were actually here in Montreal judging events in jiu-jitsu that were affiliated with certain clubs. But there comes a point where, like, I was actually asked to go in and do MMA at one point, like to judge MMA. I should have done it. I would have, but that meant that I had to leave my team of jiu-jitsu. So I wasn't ready to leave my jiu-jitsu team to get into MMA at that point as a ref, I should say, you know. But the thing is that yeah, you got to keep, like, you know, professional. There is affiliations, but I just find that the way they're calling things is that they're not calling it from a mixed, you know, martial arts perspective. I'd rather have a guy that like Cormier as a judge than any of those three guys. And no offense to Saldamato.
Yeah, but did you see what happened last week with Cormier? You see what happened with Phil Haas and Deron Wynn there? That was Phil Haas started yelling at Cormier in the cage. It was pretty good.
And Cormier has a lot of friends, so he couldn't be a judge, you know?
Yeah, Deron Wynn is on his team at AKA. They're at the same gym, and Phil Haas was saying some shit to him. That's Deron Wynn. I told you last week, guys, Haas I put on my parlay simply for the fact that he's 6 feet tall and Deron Wynn is 5'6", fighting at middleweight. You cannot be 5'6", fighting at middleweight. You just can't. You can't.
Man, it's
all right?
crazy. No. It's tough, man. It's like trying to be a linebacker in football at 5'6". It's going to be tough, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
It's an uphill battle. So Kevin Holland scored a big win last weekend. Nice victory over Tim Means. He's looking real sharp at 170. He's trying to call out Nate Diaz, but
That'd be a good fight, man.
I mean, it'd be all right, I guess. I think Nate Diaz is trying to get released from the UFC. Like, he wants out.
Yeah, but the UFC ain't just going to release him, man. They're going to hold him to that fight that he owes them. So he better just like figure a way. Like, okay, man, you don't want to fight Khamzat. I could understand. You don't want to be the sacrificial lamb for Khamzat. But Kevin, like, you can't just keep saying no. Like, if Kevin Holland is offered, man, you got to accept that. And it's a good fight, man. It's a fun fight.
Look, he's entertaining. There's no doubt about it. But you have to take this guy seriously, man. He comes out and he performs, and he doesn't only win. Like, he wins in style, man. He's winning in submissions. The guy, in my opinion, is a very dangerous fighter in that division. But he's entertaining. So you know what?
I think it makes sense for Nate.
Yeah,
I agree. If he loses, he could go box Jake Paul, man, after.
Well, Dana seems to say that this is what he thinks Nate should be doing now. Dana talked to the Mac Life, which is Conor McGregor's media thing, and he says, I mean, I like Nate. Let's be honest. Nate's won one fight in the last 5 or 6 years. When these guys get into these positions, you've got guys that have been with us for a long time that we respect, that we care about. You've got Cerrone's and Anthony Pettis before he left. You've got Nate Diaz. Nick Diaz is still under contract with us. So you want to be fair to everybody. You want to do the right things or whatever. Nate Diaz isn't going to come in and fight Kamaru Usman. So listen, we're trying to do the best we can. We're trying not to shit on anybody and disrespect anybody, but it's not like we're talking about Kamaru Usman here. We're talking about Nate Diaz. Nate's won 1 fight in 5 years, so we're trying to figure this thing out with him. He probably should go on and fight Jake Paul. That's a fight that makes sense.
But the UFC won't just release him.
Right. But Dana also said, listen, contractually, we've got to get him a fight. We'll get him a fight. But then Nate Diaz seemingly responded to that and said, send the release on Twitter. So I don't know. Maybe he wants to be released so he could fight Jake Paul. But it doesn't seem like it's happening because Jake Paul is going to be fighting Tommy Fury. And the opening line on that is a pick'em. Paul versus Fury.
Yeah, Fury's even favored at some places. I saw.
Whoa!
No,
let's put all the money on Jake Paul. Let's go.
Exactly, no clue, man. Like, listen, no offense to Tommy. Tommy is a great fighter and everything, but like he's great enough, but not great enough to beat Jake Paul, man. Jake Paul is just too fast, too big, you know. And I'm telling you, Tommy Fury is very boxy, man. He's not like his brother, man. It's a different game. I'm telling you, man. Put your money on Jake Paul because that's going to be another knockout.
I think Nate Diaz would beat him, though. I would like to see Nate Diaz fight Jake Paul. I don't care about the Tommy Fury fight because Tommy Fury to me is win. Tommy Fury is not the celebrity. You know, Jake Paul is celebrity boxing, celebrity combat. He fights the celebrity fighters. Tommy Fury's brother is a celebrity fighter, Tyson Fury. This guy, Tommy Fury, he's made his name off of Jake Paul. It
would suck if he ends like the hype train. Like, I don't want Tommy Fury to be the one to end that hype train, man.
Well, listen, at least he's a legitimate boxer. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. If anybody could come in here and actually beat Jake Paul, it's a guy who's a boxer.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think he has the speed to beat like Jake Paul, which is crazy that I'm saying this, but you know, but if you get a guy like Nate Diaz, man, Nate Diaz was like boxing. You know, I think he had like 2 professional boxing fights, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he's been in the ring, amateur or professional, whatever it was. The guy knows how to box. That could be a tougher fight for Jake Paul. But again, I'm still going to give the edge to Jake Paul over Diaz, man. It's just the size.
No.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. Jake Paul is no joke, man.
Maybe.
This guy, as we're talking right now, he's training like there's no tomorrow. He plays the game, but he's actually walks the walk and he talks the talk, and he's proven it over and over again.
Already lost a lot of money because he invested all in crypto.
Oh.
Yeah, but even if he loses his money, this guy, he was ready to fight Conor for $50 million, man. He had the check and everything was certified. It was ready to go. $50 million to fight.
How about this?
This guy.
Nate Diaz, Kevin Holland. That makes sense to you guys?
I like that.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't hate it. If Nate is going to fight again in the UFC, Kevin Holland is a guy that's like, I think he's going to stand and trade with him without a doubt. And I think he's beatable for Nate, but also Nate could easily lose that fight. But that means that we never get Conor and Nate trilogy. We never get that.
Like if you're Kevin Holland and they give you that fight, man, this is like the biggest fight of your career. You've better be focused because a win against Nate Diaz, even if Nate Diaz is not at his best, is something that, you know, is on your resume. And that's going to propel you to bigger fights after. So,
yeah, but shouldn't Nate be fighting Conor McGregor? Like, you know, Conor hasn't won since he beat Cerrone in 2020.
Conor versus Jorge.
Yeah, I think the UFC's scared of that.
No, I don't know about that, Dave. I think that's where the money is, man. That's a money fight. I mean, there's a lot of But
then again, man, Jorge's whole like. If it wasn't for that knee on Ben Askren, what else has Jorge really done in the UFC? You know, like, so I don't know. Conor might be able to beat him.
The BMF title and all the rest that go along with it, the hype, the Florida
he beat Nate,
fighting scene. The guy has a following, and that's the difference. He has a strong following, and people either like him or hate him. Just like Conor, people either like him or hate him. You know, but I don't think he has what it takes to beat Conor. That's for sure. Listen, man, you're going up against a southpaw like Conor. You better be prepared because Conor, man, can hit hard, man, and there's no doubt about it. Conor looks great. He looks strong. I saw some of his training regimen again lately. I saw him do stuff that was like ridiculous, man. The guy is you know, you can say all you want, like you can see his partying stuff on whatever Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. But when you look at his training regimen, Dave, the guy is
sure,
sick,
he's training, whatever, but it's still a tough fight here with Masvidal, and Conor still hasn't been that competitive, and he hasn't been fighting that much, and he's coming off a serious injury. It's a tough fight. It's not a gimme fight for Conor. I think the Nate fight is maybe a little bit of an easier comeback fight than Masvidal is, but I think they're both tough fights for Conor. They're both fights that I think he could win or lose. You know, like, yeah.
So who you give to Conor then? Because other than those two, what are the options?
You want to give him Cerrone again? Give him the winner of Cerrone and Jim Miller.
No, man. That's not.
Come on, guys.
We've already been there.
Be cool.
Come
Joe
on.
Lozon's looking for an opponent. How about that?
No way, man. These
Let's
are
give
not,
Conor
like,
somebody
guys
he can beat, guys. Let's be
Joe
cool. Let's try to
Lozon
make some
taps
money.
Conor.
Let's have some fun.
Jim
Let's try
Miller
to prolong
taps
the Conor McGregor gravy train, man. Lozon will not tap Conor. Conor will knock him out in like 30 seconds. Come on, you know that's true. It just is how it is. You know, I just think that we should give Conor an easy fight that he can definitely win. Let's do the Conor versus AJ DeLesio fight finally. Get that one in. You know,
For
get
50
AJ
million and sponsored by Jake Paul. I'm in, man.
AJ, you can get a nice payday out of it. Conor can get a nice easy win, and we can all move on. You know, maybe Conor will come on the show. It'll be great. Let's do
We'll
that.
get like a better studio, man. Listen, I'll take it for the team. You know what I always said, eh? It's always about the ratings, man.
That's
if
right.
AJ's
I mean,
got to do it, AJ will do it, man.
I'm looking at the
I mean,
rankings,
get
man.
it
At
done.
170, man, everybody that's a decent 170 is tough, man.
Forget
Conor
it.
doesn't want to
Kevin
fight
Holland
Khamzat,
included.
doesn't want to fight Gilbert Burns, doesn't want to fight Bilal Muhammad. I don't think he wants to fight Stephen Thompson. I don't think, like, Masvidal's big. All these names are big for Conor, so maybe
But
155,
Masvidal makes
man.
the most sense.
Yeah, but
Masvidal
look
makes
at
the most sense
155,
out
man.
of the
155, look at
Killers.
the top 10. It's just
I know.
savages. Like, just
Ferguson, man. Conor versus Ferguson.
Yeah,
man.
that's
you wanna,
That could be
yeah,
good.
exactly.
Yes.
That could be good.
That makes
Thank
sense.
you. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking
That would
about.
make sense.
Give me a winnable fight. Something he can
Well,
win.
With a name.
it would be
Yeah.
an exciting fight,
A
man.
winnable fight against a guy. You know, even Dos Anjos would be interesting. But I think
I think that's
Ferguson makes
dangerous.
more sense.
Yeah.
But, like, you look
Yeah,
at
that
these
makes
guys
sense.
that are fighting on the weekend, right? They're ranked 11th and 12th. Gamrot and Tsarukyan. They're at lightweight. Conor is technically ranked ahead of them in the UFC's ranking. He's ranked 8th. But Tsarukyan and Gamrot would beat the shit out of Conor. They would maul him. I am convinced of it. After doing study and watching some of these guys' fights, Arman Tsarukyan would crush Conor McGregor right now. Like, he's not ready for this competition. The whole division has changed, and he's like one of these old guys now, and he hasn't even continued to compete. So he's in trouble when he comes back. He better hope he gets Tony Ferguson or something like that. Even Masvidal or Nate Diaz, but like, he better not try and fight like Rafael Fiziev or one of these fucking guys, because he's gonna get smashed. Smashed. You know? Imagine him fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov. That guy would kill him. That Shavkat guy? He's fighting
He's
this weekend.
dangerous, that guy, man.
Shavkat is fighting
He's
Neil
scary,
Magny,
man.
baby. Get ready for
Goodbye,
Shavkat.
Neil, man.
The shaved
You know
cat.
where I'm going on that one.
Yeah, that's
The
where
shaved
everybody's
cat
going.
Is gonna, like, he's gonna claw poor Neil, man. Listen,
Can't believe Shaved
that's the
Cat is
difference.
only minus 434. He's gonna be that's a slam dunk. Let's do it. You want to do it?
listen.
Last week, Patrick C. Hamilton, he drops a super chat. He says, didn't get enough to bet last week. Didn't watch either. Wasn't excited
Good
about
one,
last
Pat.
week's card.
Good one.
And, you know, I get it, man. Last week's card was not very high profile. This week's card is kind of low profile, too. But there's some really good fights on this card. And I know that Gamrot and Tsarukyan are not the most high profile guys, and they don't have the biggest name. But goddamn, can these guys fight? Shavkat Rakhmonov might not be a big name now, but the guy's undefeated, has finished every single one of his fights. And
Future
the
star,
more
man.
the more he fights, the more people are going to say, oh, it's the Shavkat fight. You know, like, this guy could be one of the guys. He could fight for the title. He could be the champion. So there's some guys worth paying attention to here on this card. It's a pretty solid card. Like, it's not terrible. We've got some good fights on it. The main event is really good if you're paying attention. But you have to really be paying attention. Like, if you're just kind of, you know, like, this isn't a a big money card. This won't draw the rating on TV. Like, people aren't going to be tuning into this card like crazy. It's going to be, you know, watched by the hardcore MMA fans, but other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of MMA fans skip this one this weekend, but
Yeah, but it's
I'll
solid,
be watching it, and it's going to be a really good main event. And I always want to see the co-main event because Shavkat is in it, and I think he's fantastic. So,
man, you got guys on this card like Rodolfo Vieira that's on there. I mean, like, we're talking like it. To me, it's a solid card. This is gonna be one of those cards where we're like, wow, you know, it's free, it's exciting, and it's gonna be more exciting than it looks on paper because some of the scrappers that are on this, man, are ridiculous. We've got Umar that's on that card as well. I mean, it's insane. I'm gonna be watching it, that's for sure.
of course.
You know, but this is the type of card that could go either or, man. It's a hard card to pick. I mean, last week's parlay, and it's a good thing with Patrick, he didn't go with us, but we were one fight away from making decent money. My parlay was $20 for about 286 payout, which would have been nice, which we got robbed by Chris Lee. Thank you, Chris. But this card that we're gonna, like, I have my predictions, but man, it could go either or on a lot of these fights, you know?
Yeah, and I think the main event is a really good example of that. Tsarukyan
that's a tough one.
versus Gamrot. Very difficult main event to pick. Both of these guys have excellent wrestling. Both of these guys have a very good record in MMA. 18-2 is Arman Tsarukyan, and 20-1 is the man from Poland, Mateusz Gamrot. These guys are serious. These guys are high level, and they're making a play to get into the top 10, the top 5, possibly, of the lightweight division, the toughest division in all of the UFC. Mateusz Gamrot's only loss in the UFC comes to Guram Kutaladze, who we saw last weekend. Lost to him by split decision in a very close fight. But he followed that up with 3 straight wins that he finished, defeating Scott Holtzman with a TKO, finishing Jeremy Stevens with a Kimura in the first round, and then finishing Diego Ferreira with a knee to the rib that broke his rib and ended the fight. Gamrot is legit, and Tsarukyan is too. Gamrot, I think, is better in the scramble, and he may get an advantage there. He may wind up on top in some of these wrestling situations because I think he's got a little bit more pep in that scramble. I think his gas tank is a little bit better than Tsarukyan's too. If you watch some of Tsarukyan's fights, especially against Islam Makhachev, which, you know, Tsarukyan went 3 rounds with Islam Makhachev. By the way, Islam is the only guy to beat Tsarukyan in the UFC.
Yep. First fight.
You know, Tsarukyan is no joke at all. Yeah, that was Tsarukyan's first fight in the UFC. He got Islam Makhachev, who's probably a future champion. And he made a good go of it. Like, it was a close fight. He lost the fight by, I think it was a unanimous decision, but still, it was, like, very tight. I watched that fight again today. Jeez. Tsarukyan went toe-to-toe with Islam Makhachev. Couldn't get the takedowns he needed, but was maybe beating him in the stand-up. But in the third round there, he seemed to slow down Tsarukyan. So I think Gamrot may have a bit of a better gas tank. I watched some Gamrot fights, and he seemed to stay as fresh in the third round as he was in the first. But this one is going to be a 5-rounder. Gamrot has more experience in 5-round fights. He was a champion over in KSW in Poland. I'm leaning with Gamrot, but I'm not putting him in my parlay, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to throw a solo bet on Mateusz Gamrot just to win. I don't know how this fight goes. I'd say probably decision. But I'm going to go with Mateusz Gamrot because he's plus 225, the underdog. And I think this is a pick'em fight. I'm surprised Tsarukyan is such a heavy favorite. I think it's worth throwing a single bet down on Mateusz Gamrot because This one could go either way, guys. So I'm going to go with Gamrot in the main event, but this is a battle. Both of these guys are great wrestlers. But again, I like Gamrot's scramble. I like Gamrot's gas tank. And I don't think Tsarukyan has a big enough edge in the striking to make a difference in the fight. But
I
he's
disagree.
But he's, you know, like he does. I think he's got an edge in this. Like, I think he's better. He's a better striker. But I don't think it's going to be enough. And I think there's going to be a lot of grappling here. Because both of these guys have shown when they face grapplers, they're not afraid to grapple. You know, when they go in there with wrestlers like Tsarukyan was going, he's trying to take Islam Makhachev down. You know, Gamrot, he's in there with Guram Kutaladze. He's taking him down. He's having grappling exchanges. Like, these guys are not scared to grapple with serious grapplers. Gamrot, in his grappling, he fought Gary Tonin. Like, he's legit.
That's no joke, man.
Okay? He's super legit.
Yeah.
So, you know, neither of these guys are scared to grapple. I think this is going to be a grappling fight, which for us, we're grapplers. We love the grappling arts. I think this is going to be one that we'll really enjoy. Because these are two high-level, top-shape guys that are going to go in there and wrestle and do jiu-jitsu. And it's going to be really good grappling. So I'm excited for this fight. And I like Gamrot, plus 225, the underdog. But, again, could go either way. But I think it's worth throwing a single bet down on Mateusz Gamrot. All right? AJ, what do you think? I know you're going with Tsarukyan on this fight. Tell me why.
Well, man, I agree with you on a lot of points. Like, you're taking two high-level wrestlers, and chances are it's going to be a wrestling game. But the thing is that what I notice is that Armin's, like, striking has improved so much. He looks confident on his striking, and he's going to be looking to knock this guy out. I'm telling you, man, they're going to go toe-to-toe, and Armin is not going for the wrestling game. I don't think it's going to be as much wrestling as everybody expects it to be. I think it's going to be just like a kamikaze, all in, knock this guy out as quickly as possible type of fight. And I think that's exactly what Armin's going to do. I think Armin's coming into to gunsling big time. I you know what? I could be completely wrong, and we're going to see a complete, you know, pure wrestling match that's going to go down to the wire. Who gets like the, you know, the top mount advantage, and that's what wins the fight. But I don't see that happening. I think there's enough striking in Armin to beat him, and he's more well-rounded in my opinion. But you know, I look at his 4 last wins. His last 2 wins, TKO. He's won a couple by decision. The guy comes out, and he comes out to strike, and he doesn't fool around. Just like he fought Islam in his first pro fight. Man, even though he lost, like you said, it was, like, impressive. And that was his first fight. The guy is now, what is he? He's 18-2. He's 5-1 since he's been in the UFC. So it's going to be a tough one, but I'm going on the opposite side. I'm going Armenia for the win.
Freddie?
It's a tight fight. I'm going to go with Gamrot because I look at his recent wins, and I think, you know, it's decent competition, better competition than I'm going to butcher his name, Armin. Exactly. Better competition than Armin has faced. So I'm going to go with Gamrot, and I'm going to put him on my parlay because I like that odd, that plus 2 something like that. Plus 200, 225.
225.
That's a good odd. Yeah, that's a good odd. So he's on my parlay.
There we go.
Armenia!
All right, I can give you my parlay here. I'm ready with my parlay.
Already? Damn, Bet99.
Why not? Why not? Are you ready? I've got
Ringside.
a 3-fight parlay for you. Maybe I'll throw Gamrot. You know, I'm just gonna throw a single bet on Gamrot because I think he's worth just betting alone on. But I got a fun little 3-fight parlay for you guys, and it goes a little something like this. We're gonna go with Shavkat Rakhmonov over Neil Magny minus 434. He's a heavy favorite for a reason. This guy's a future champion, or at least a title challenger, and he's undefeated, and he's smashing through the competition left and right. He is incredible. Chris Curtis over Rodolfo Vieira. Vieira has got great jiu-jitsu, but Chris Curtis has been knocking people out big time. Knocked out Phil Haas, knocked out some impressive people here so far in his UFC run, and I think he's going to knock out Rodolfo Vieira as well, minus 132. And we're going to start with the opening fight of the night. Vanessa Demopoulos, I look for her to out-wrestle Jin Frey and out-grapple her for a decision victory, plus 190. The underdog is Vanessa Demopoulos opening the night. $20 will get you 128.15 over at bet99.com. That's the Team Dave parlay. Bet with us over at bet99.com. Use that promo code ringside when you do for a $600 matching bonus, up to $600. They will match your initial deposit at bet99.com with that promo code ringside. So there's a Team Dave parlay. Kept it simple this week. Rachmanov, Curtis,
I like
Demopoulos, 20 gets you 128.15. Team Dave.
I like it.
Freddie likes
I like it because it doesn't look like mine. So, often I pick my picks because of you. Like, I respect your opinion. You've been having success. So, but this week I'm going different. Like I said, I got Gamrot on my parlay, and I've got Shavkat because I think he's a real deal. He's gonna win that one. But after that, I'm going with Josh Parisian over Alan Badeau.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going with Christos Giagos over Thiago Moses because Thiago Moses lost his last 2 fights, man. I don't know, man. I feel like Christos is going to call. And Christos lost to Armin, but other than that, like, his record's decent. So I'm going to go with that surprise. So that's my parlay, man. 4-5 parlay, man. Don't laugh, man. Last week I had Josh Emmett.
No, you're not wrong about that. I could see Moises losing the fight, but I think he's going to win. But that's I could see your reasoning on that one. So it's a
the odds.
Yeah, it's a 4-fight parlay, and you never know how he's going to respond to that knockout loss to Yoel Alvarez in his last fight, right? He got knocked out cold in that last one, and that might, it wasn't that long ago either, right? When was that fight for Moises? He got knocked out in last November. He's had some time, but still, I don't know. It could be bad. So there's the Team Fred parlay. It's Mateusz Gamrot plus 225, Shavkat Rachmanov, who was also in the Team Dave parlay, which tells you something, right? Josh Parisian, which I think is a solid pick, over Alain Badeau plus 105, and then Christos Giagos, and $20 over at Bet99 will get you $506.77 with the Team Fred parlay. Damn. That's a pretty good return on your investment. $20 gets you $506.77. It's a 4-fight parlay. Giagos, Parisian, Rachmanov, and Gamrot. That is the Team Fred parlay. AJ, your turn.
All right, boys. Here we go. So I'm going with my Armenian hopeful, Armand. Then I'm going to go with Shavkat. Shave that cat, man, because this guy is going to be one of the most terrifying guys in this division, man. He's a future contender for sure. Then I'm going to go with Alain Badeau. So both of you went with Josh Parisian, right?
I didn't take him in the parlay, but I think he might win, yeah. Fred took him in his parlay.
Look, he's a better striker overall, man. So this is going to be a stoppage. When you're at heavyweight, man, someone's going down. You got to look at the better striker, and I think Alain Badeau has that. Then I'm going to go with Thiago, man. So I'm going against Freddie on that one. Look, Moisés, man, heavy grappler. He can do some damage, and he might end up winning by submission. But I'm still going with him on my parlay, Thiago. Then for sure I'm going with Umar.
Yeah.
Anybody coming from Dagestan, like I said.
Yeah,
if
but
you're a
the
crystal
odds
ball
are so
reader.
awful, man.
Yeah, he's the heaviest favorite on the card, minus 1,100. And the guy he's fighting, Umar Nurmagomedov, is fighting Nate Maness. Nate Maness, 30 years old, 14-1 as a pro. He's won 3 in a row in the UFC. Like, he's not bad, Nate Maness. He might, I wouldn't.
He could be the surprise of the night.
Like, plus 650, he might be worth a look. I think Umar probably wins because his last name is Nurmagomedov and he's undefeated. But I think he's a heavy favorite because of his last name and because he's undefeated. But I don't think that's a slam dunk fight for him. I think he might lose. But, okay. You got him. You're going with Umar.
I'm going with Umar, and then I'm going to go with my 6th fight parlay with Rudolfo, man. And I'm surprised you're going with Chris Curtis. Not that that can't happen. But you got to remember, Rodolfo's 8-1. Let me give you a little bit of a history on Rodolfo. You're looking at a 4-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, 7-time World Cup champion. The guy is looking for his 3rd UFC win. When it comes down to the ground,
Got tapped by
Rodolfo
who?
Vieira.
Got tapped by who?
Yeah, but shit happens. Everybody could lose. Georgia lost. Everybody could lose. Mike Tyson has lost. Muhammad Ali has lost. And listen, Rodolfo Vieira lost too. Yeah, he got tapped. But the thing is, you're looking at a guy that you come back from that. He's 8-1. And you know what I don't like is I saw a couple of things by Chris. He says, if it's in the first round, he could submit me in the first round. But look, he already knows that he doesn't want to grapple with Rodolfo. What do you think Rodolfo's going to want to do? He's going to want to grapple. So if he's able to take him to the ground, man, I think it's going to be a different story. It's going to be a 9-1, and I think my parlay is pretty strong. The only thing is that the main fight is where it could go either or. I'm going with Armand, man, but it could be a toss-up. The rest, I'm pretty confident.
I really like Chris Curtis. He's been making me money in the UFC so far. I bet on him to beat Phil Haas and to beat Brendan Allen. He was the underdog in both fights. He came through. He's a slight favorite here. But, yeah, I don't know about that Vieira. I'm not too sure. He's going to have the striking to deal with him. But here's the Team AJ parlay. It's a 6-fight parlay. Angelo likes that you picked a Greek American there, Fred. He's loving it. Giagos. Christos Giagos. AJ parlay has Arman Tsarukyan, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Alain Baudot.
He's Greek.
Alain Baudot. Thiago Moises, he's Brazilian. Umar Nurmagomedov, I think, is Greek. And Rodolfo Vieira, plus 105. That is the Team AJ parlay. $20 gets you 190.54. Not bad. Not as good as Fred's parlay, but not bad. So Vieira, Umar, Moises, Baudot, Rakhmonov, and Tsarukyan. Team AJ.
It looks good, man.
Looks good to you. I don't like it. I don't like it too much.
Listen, man. That's okay, bud. You're allowed to.
PFL tomorrow night. Anthony Pettis taking on Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat, so that'll be a good fight.
Listen, we got to give kudos to Olivier Aubin-Mercier. I watched him in the last fight in the PFL. He won. He's in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
He looked good, man. He played a solid. He looked great, man. It wasn't the most exciting fight in the beginning. Like, the fans were getting a little bit restless. But Olivier is not playing stupid. He's playing technical. He played it smart, and he just needed the win. He needs to get into the playoffs, which he did. And the purse for the $1 million is there. So congratulations to Olivier, man. I was so happy for him.
He's got it. He's got it. He's doing great.
I think so.
I'm really happy to see him having so much success right now in PFL. He looked great last week. And Bruno Capoloza and Mateusz Scheffel is the main event tomorrow night for the PFL. So that is some PFL action going down on a Friday night. I think that's
exciting, man. The PFL, I like it, man. It's a really an exciting organization. It's just like you got to get used to their scoring and the way they do it. But man, some really good fights in that in that circuit.
I mostly tune in when Olivier fights or Rory McDonald fights. I don't always watch the PFL, but if Olivier's fighting or Rory McDonald is fighting, I am watching.
There you go.
You know. Okay. I think we're good.
What about Conor, man?
What about Conor?
What about Conor? Did you hear the news?
I'm wearing his T-shirt.
Well, you should know about what. Look at that Conor, man. Look at that handsome guy. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Should be wearing a ringside. You can purchase this beautiful T-shirt
so
at
what's
our,
the news?
What's the news, motherfucker?
What the news is that Conor took down like a cocaine kingpin, man. I thought you knew about that this week. It's like so exciting. Like what happened was that this cocaine kingpin from Liverpool got caught. Well, no, he got busted, dude. And it's not alleged. He's down for the count, man. TKO. So what happened was that this kingpin, what's his name again? I forgot his name. Oh, Ryan Paulin. So this guy had like some picture of Conor, a mural in the back in his room of Conor in his all glory, and they were able to pinpoint that this guy was connected to all kinds of like cocaine deals because of Conor. So Conor, technically, not only is he one of the greatest fighters of all time, he's also one of the like greatest narc busters of all time as well, man. Conor does it all, dude.
He better be careful because a lot of the people that are associated with Daniel Kinahan, who's like a most wanted Irish gangster, right? a lot of people that are associated with him are having trouble entering the United States. Like some of the athletes that he's had dealings with or been known to associate with, they're having trouble getting into the States. And Conor is one of those guys who's been known to associate with the Kinahan cartel, and he's had pictures with those guys, so it's possible that he may have some trouble, but he's, 100 millionaire, so he'll probably figure it out. But, you never know. You never know.
Anything
Fred,
possible.
Fred, you had some Vince questions. You want to talk about Vince before we wrap up?
Yeah, like last week, man, we talked about Vince being finished, and then he shows up at SmackDown, doesn't say much. Then he shows up to Raw. Also, like, is Vince, all there? What's up with Vince, man?
Has he ever been? Has he ever been all there? Like, he's not a normal guy. What he's doing right now is he gave up power, right? He is no longer the CEO and chairman of the WWE, but he's still the creative director. He's still in creative control running the show, right? So all creative decisions go through him, but the business side, all that stuff, he's given up, apparently, and now Stephanie is the interim CEO and chairwoman, Stephanie McMahon, his daughter. But, yeah, Vince appeared on SmackDown to say, then, now, forever, and the most important, together. And then he showed up on Raw, and he's like, John Cena's coming back next week. He's the best. Don't you all love John Cena? And then he left. He jumped off the ring steps, and he's just showing power. It's just like Vince showing us his dick, saying, hey, guys, look what I can do. You think I'm in trouble? You think things are bad? I'm going to be on TV every week. I'm here now more than ever. And it's just Vince and his ego just showing us, who's boss and who's still in charge. And they think they could take me down, but they can't because I'm Vince McMahon. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like Vince is walking out on TV now on every show saying nothing. Like, there's no purpose for him other than to get a big pop from the audience because everybody... If Vince McMahon walked in front of you, no matter what you may feel about him, if you're a wrestling fan, chances are you're going to cheer. So he gets a big pop. People sing his song. They love Vince. He says something nice like, John Cena's coming back next week. Then he leaves, and that's it. It's just a display of strength from Vince McMahon. You think this shit is going to take me down? Forget about it. Nothing can take me down.
I'm reading that the value of WWE has been going down like crazy. So careful, Vince.
They're in trouble, but he's trying to, maybe this is his way of trying to right the ship, let everybody know, like, I'm still here, don't worry, WWE's still good, I'm here, I'm Vince.
He's a smart guy, man.
Whenever, I don't wish no harm to Vince. I love Vince, he's part of my childhood and everything, but whenever Vince will pass away, man, there will be like this incredible, I hope, documentary on his life, man. It could be probably like 20 parts.
Oh yeah.
And I want to know everything about Vince.
I want his kids
Netflix.
to be in
I
it.
guarantee you, man.
I want his kids to be interviewed.
Series.
You know what I mean?
Everything.
I want a Vince McMahon documentary that's real when he's dead, so they're not worried about pleasing him. Like, when he dies, I want Shane and Stephanie and Triple H to be interviewed about him at length and really say what happened. Because, the stories would be amazing. This guy is
I'm not sure
else.
they would, though. They probably love Vince, man.
They
That's
probably
why
wouldn't, but you never know.
Line. I want people that don't like Vince, man, to come out and talk about shady stories and all that.
Yeah, well, there are shady stories, and you don't have to not like Vince to know those stories, right? Yeah. You know what's really funny is that John Laurinaitis, who's the head of talent relations, who's also implicated in all this kind of impropriety at the office with some ladies, Laurinaitis, he's been sent home. Like, he's on a temporary leave. So they send Laurinaitis home. His job, he's done, right? But Vince is on TV every show now, right? So they're like, Johnny Ace, get the hell out of here. But Vince, Vince is still in charge. Whatever. It's fine. I think that's fantastic. Angelo dropping a super chat. He said, I heard Triple H is back. Any truth to that? Yeah, that's what I heard, too. That seems to be legit. The Triple H went to Orlando, went to the Performance Center, and said, I'm back, the King of Kings, back on his throne. That's what it seems like. He's, maybe because Stephanie's in charge, she's like, I don't know, but it's odd that Triple H is possibly back, maybe running the Performance Center again, maybe going to take over NXT. Maybe the NXT 2.0 experiment has run its course and they decided to go back with Triple H. I just think it's interesting that his wife is named interim CEO, and then all of a sudden he's got his job back running the Performance Center. It's like Vince took him out of there, and then Stephanie put him back in. Is that what happened? But yeah, Angelo, that is the story. That is what I have read, and from some pretty legit news sources in pro wrestling, as legit as wrestling news sources come, right? They are pretty legit,
Well, if it comes
though.
from Dave Simon, it should be true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm your filter, right? I'll read the wrestling news stories, and I'll tell you what's bullshit and what's not, because some of the things are kind of bullshit. But the Triple H thing seems legit. Multiple sources putting that out there that Triple H was in Orlando and did say that he's back and, back in charge, which is interesting. Very interesting times in the world of professional wrestling. Johnny North and I will be talking about it tomorrow night right here on Wrestling Uncensored. There is an AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view on Sunday. AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling presents Forbidden Door. AEW versus New Japan. We will be previewing that one tomorrow night. We'll be talking a lot of AEW. We'll be talking some WWE as well. Everything going on with Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. But, of course, AEW's Forbidden Door. I told you it was going to be Hangman and Okada versus Adam Cole and Jay White. I told you last week. No one else was saying it, only me. And then this week on Dynamite, they made the match. I was like, yeah, that seems about right. Anyways, okay. More about that tomorrow night on Wrestling Uncensored, 10 p.m. right after SmackDown, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Angelo's going to be getting the shirt that you're wearing, AJ, soon. He's ordered the nice shirt from ringsidereport.net, merch.ringsidereport.net. If you want to get some of the merch, merch.ringsidereport.net. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment as well. Leave a comment on this video. Tell us you love it. And it helps us with the algorithm, gets us seen by more people. And, everybody needs to see this show.
Yeah.
Shout
out to PR Mark, too, man. He's trying to get us Conor, man.
Well, good luck to PR Mark in doing that. I hope he can do that. I don't know. We'll see. Okay.
He's crazy, man. He could do
and that's it. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow night with Johnny North. Thank you to Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat. Thank you to Angelo Contagonis. You are the super chat leader of the night. Once again, thank you, my friend. Thank you to all the members, Patrick, Angelo, and everybody else who is a member of the team. Join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net to support the Ringside Report Network. Become a member, and you can call in whenever you want. Talk to us. Members can call into the show and, give us their thoughts on...
happening?
Give us their thoughts on whatever. Angelo, he's called in. There you go.
Wow, look
been
at
a
this.
Been a member for 17 months.
Wow,
Thank you, Angelo.
Angelo, man.
He says, great show as always, guys. Happy St. Jean. Well, happy St. Jean to you and all of our friends. And, of course, happy
Saint Jean.
birthday. Happy birthday to my son, Zevi. He is the man. What a man. I could talk about him for
My brother,
days.
too, bud. Too, coming up on Saturday. So happy birthday,
Yeah,
Zevi.
I'm more
Happy
focused
birthday,
on my
Julio.
son, but
And
yeah,
bon
happy
Saint
birthday
Jean,
to
sleep
AJ's
for all the
brother.
Quebecers.
Okay, thanks. I'll see you tomorrow night with Johnny North for some wrestling talk.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.